Go.
Welcome. You're listening to Dunestone Redemption. It's a podcast featuring three idiots. We get together. Each idiot gets to pick a film, make the other two idiots watch it. Then we get together and we talk about what we thought about said films. And unless you're Keanu Reeves,
Yeah, okay.
we don't accept guests, but we do like feedback. So drop us a note at www.dunestoneredemption.com and tell us what you think about the show.
I think that I would like hanging out with him.
That was left field. Where'd that come from?
What?
Yeah, I mean, I like Keanu Reeves, but
I was just flipping through IMDb and he was the next one. I was like, Keanu Reeves? Has nothing to do with anything in the show today.
Okay, so do you guys want to at all see Bill and Ted, that movie?
yeah, I will watch that.
I'm going to watch it at some point, but it's going to have to be where it's like I don't have to do any work to get to that thing to watch it on.
Yep.
You know? So if it's like I'm watching Netflix and something goes off and it comes on next, it just kind of rolls into it, I'm going to watch it.
You're not going to spend the $30 or so.
No.
No, you know, and I'm glad that they released it to the theaters, and some of the small theaters that are having very limited showing and stuff like that had at least a new film to show, but that also kind of says something about it as well.
Yeah. I'm not excited. I mean, I watched those as a kid, but I wasn't like, oh, God, this is awesome. So.
Well, and my daughter went and saw it, and I was like,
have you seen the others?
do you even know that there? I said, have you seen the first two? And she said, I saw the first one, but didn't realize there was a second one until this third one came out. And I said, sweet. So I asked her how it was, and she was like, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty rough. Pretty rough.
I mean, Keanu, does he need the money? Because some of the things he does, you're like...
No, but I bet you his buddy did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Paul Winters, is that his name?
Is that Bill or is that Ted?
Doesn't sound right.
Holy crap, we're going to have to put it on IMDb.
This early in the show, going to the IMDb.
Oh, no, I'm already in there.
Going deep cuts.
Yeah. He is Bill and Ted Face the Music. Alex Winter.
Knew you were close, but it didn't sound right.
I knew his last name was Winter, but
He was Bill and Keanu is Ted.
Yeah.
All right, so we get together tonight to talk about Bill and Ted?
Apparently we did.
Okay, all right.
Or we could talk about the other three movies that we actually picked to talk about this month. Shake Back, buddy. What were those films, bud?
They were the Greyhound, An American Pickle, and I always get this one right. Or right? No, I never get this one right. The Dark Tower trilogy.
No, Super Dark Times.
Super Dark Times.
You're really close, though.
Yeah. So who's going to kick this pig?
Othy, of the three this month, which was your favorite?
Well, probably my pick because, full disclosure, that's the only one I watched. So I need to buy Apple TV to watch the others and get that on there. So we'll start with mine, and I'll play narrator for your two picks. How about that?
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So mine was Super Dark Times, and the reason I picked it, I just came off of the Ozark craze. I think we all saw, which I need to get my IMDb up. But the lead, or kind of the supporting role, was the kid that plays. It's going to blank on me.
Wyatt Langmore, right?
Yes, thank you.
Wyatt Langmore. His name is Charlie Tahan.
Yep.
And I think he could be a very good actor. He's been in some other things. Like, what was the show that, Eric, that you recommended? Castle Rock?
No, that was Russell's recommendation, but I stole it from him.
Was he in that show?
Yeah. He's the junkie that they go to, like, in the town for, like, whatever they need.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, I think it'd be a good act. So I picked this, watched it, and the ending of this movie just shocked me, and that's why I want you to.
And I want to talk about that ending because I'm not real sure. I'm kind of stupid, so you guys got to explain things in small words.
Okay, so do we want to give spoiler alerts here and tell what happened?
Spoiler alerts. Let's talk about the movie first.
We can.
So let's
Let's talk about the movie, and then maybe we'll talk about the end.
Okay. So there's 4 kids. They're in high school, and they're kind of
Mhm.
playing in, I would call a field, if you will. And
Open space. Yeah, that's what we used
yeah,
to do.
they kind of get into a fight, and an accident happens where one kid dies, and they decide to cover it up. And then from that point, in my head, the movie just went off the rails like craziness, because that
It
character
really did.
was just like he flipped into a different person completely after he killed this kid on accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he went after the girls at the end, I couldn't believe what was happening and watching.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert, sorry. I'm trying to find the synopsis of what the IMDb says here about the movie.
No, I mean that's a great summary. It's kind of a coming of age film. These kids aren't adults, but they're not children for sure.
No,
This thing befalls them, and they make a bad decision on what to do about it, and then everything else just goes to shit from there. It's
yeah,
real big. Did you what? I mean, did you enjoy it?
I
You
like
like it?
yeah, because I wasn't expecting that. And most movies I feel are planned out to where the audience knows what's going to happen. Boy, I didn't know what was going to happen after the first act.
I wrote a couple notes down here. Let me
I've
see
got
if
some
I
notes
can-
too, so you go ahead and Russell, and then I'll chime in.
Well, I didn't find my notes yet, though.
What is that music?
Oh, I didn't realize I was still playing that either.
Yeah, that's like marimba or
No, it's just I have it on 70s like track thing or whatever. You talk about what you liked about it, and I'll find the remote and turn that stupid music off.
so. So for me, one of the things that was interesting is that you know me, I want fast paced and I want to get moving, and I felt like in the beginning of the movie that they spent a lot of time developing these 2 boys. A lot of time about how they liked the girl, who they liked, the things that they did, the things that they liked, and I really was like, okay, when is it going to get to the point? Not understanding that when they got to the point and the crux of the movie, that all that would come into play. I was. Were you guys with me that you really didn't know what was real and what was being dreamed in that whole thing?
That's why I thought, I'm like, this has to be all a dream at the end when he's in the bedroom with the girls. That's what I kept thinking. Especially when he started attacking Josh. I'm like, what? There's no way this is real. And then, I don't know, that when he brought out the sword and he stopped the sword with his hands, I'm like, okay, maybe this is real.
Uh-huh.
That's the part where I'm like, oh, wow, like this kid's just gone. He lost it completely.
Yeah, it was certainly real. It wasn't dream
Yeah. He broke from reality quickly.
in that scenario. Yeah, but the whole time they kind of the one friend who actually commits the murder, accidental manslaughter or whatever, I guess, of that poor kid. The whole time you're wondering, is he acting appropriate or not? Is he losing it, or is this kid that they're following, is he losing it and becoming like super paranoid and
see, that's why I thought he was just getting paranoid. I didn't think the other kid was going off the rails. This idea that he killed this other, the drug pusher, the drug dealer. It was like, man, that seems like a real stretch that he'd go after that guy.
Yeah, it's just strange, but so overall, Eric, I mean, what's your? Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was a good film?
Yeah, I really did. I did enjoy it because it was different.
Uh-huh.
For me, it was something that you just didn't expect any of that, and so I got into it. I did enjoy it, but I really do want to talk about this ending because I want your I mean, is it fair to say that this ending is open to interpretation, or am I just too stupid to know what actually happened?
That's kind of what I thought too. Did the cops come and all that? Like, what really happened at the very end? I think it's open to interpretation, but
what do you think, Russ?
Well, I think it was over at that point. You know what I mean?
But why did they end the story with the girl? I mean, obviously she got away, and that was she had the scars of the event. But you don't see what happens to the boy. You're not seeing any of that.
I think maybe because it's the narrative where they say, don't focus on the perpetrators, focus on the victim.
Yeah.
And so they I think it was a little wink to that they ended it with, okay, but what you should be asking is what happened to the girl. You know what I mean? Because the other two were kind of complicit.
But do you think that was done well? Because I honestly was leaving the movie going, did she dream all this?
I think it was done effectively. If it made you like leave the movie going, huh? You know, that's interesting.
Well, and that's why another reason I picked this movie, because after I'd watched it, I was thinking about this movie for days later.
Yeah, it is one that sticks with you for a day or two.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I wonder what they'll think about it. So that's why I kind of picked it for this month.
I mean, it's an interesting tale because there's some real truth in it. Because, I mean, if they just would have fessed up, you know, and what would have happened? I mean, this wouldn't be a story. And you go, okay, yeah, it's a movie, but I mean, this type of thing happens all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like I said, it's every Ben Stiller movie. If you just tell the truth, you know.
That's a very good point.
It's one of those comedies, man. If people would just communicate,
tell the truth,
none of this would be happening. It's all miscommunication.
Right.
Well, I'll go, and I would give it a Downey Jr. again. The reason I liked it, something completely different, not a superhero movie. And again, like what I said to Russ and I were saying, it left me thinking about it for a couple days. So I'd say don't sleep on this. If you got Netflix and now's the Halloween time, this isn't a bad flick for this time of year.
No, that's pretty good, appropriate. I really liked it as well. So in the beginning, it was really getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
Because, well, they kept doing this crap with the sound editing.
And it was odd. It was like trying to be eerie and weird.
Yeah, the first 3 lines of the film were inaudible whispering. You know what I mean? It was like you couldn't. I was like, you just lost me, dumb shit. It pissed me off. I was like, come on. What's the opening line? It cut to scene. Inaudible whispering. First line out of a person's mouth should. Oh my gosh, that just seemed like it like they broke some kind of filmmaking rule there. I don't know what that rule is, but it was not appreciated. For some reason, I really liked the mom character in this film too. She just seemed like the normal mom of a teenager.
Not my mom. That was not my mom. So.
Well, I don't know. She just kind of seemed like hey, what's going on? You okay? Or you know, I don't know. It's maybe it was the mom we wanted to have.
Maybe.
You know, but I don't know. I thought she was just pretty good in the film because you could tell that when she was asking him a question that she really did know or didn't know if she believed him. You know what I mean?
She's a good mom in 13 Reasons Why too. She's like that mom cast type now.
Oh, I don't remember.
You would be IMDb, yeah.
Oh yeah, because I've never seen that one. I was like 13 Reasons Why. What is that? That sounds like a terrible show.
Yeah, don't get into that.
It looks like a terrible show.
So what would you rate it?
I would give it maybe a step down from the Downey Jr. What's that? Hoskins.
Hoskins, that's correct.
Yeah, I'd give it the old Bob Hoskins. It's a sleeper. I mean, I really did like it. It was nothing I had heard of before. And we did want to say that it's from 2017. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and which Othy didn't know that when he picked it, but that's okay. We still like him.
Did not
but
know.
It's kind of fun to do that, to go down a little rabbit hole every now and then when you find an actor that you like.
Yes.
Like, hey, what else have they been in? And Prime Video will kind of do that for you now with this X-ray thing or whatever. When you pause it, it's like you can see what other films these people have been in and stuff.
Yeah, the actor's choice and all that on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It's kind of interesting stuff.
Well, the good news is
fun to do.
The movie I picked tonight's from 1997, so that we're sure that Othy can get it and watch it.
I hope so. I'm going to go down to Family Dollar today. I will watch it.
Yeah. Eric, what is your rating on it?
I also gave it a 6. Hoskins, I completely agree. It was a shock. It's definitely worth a watch, especially on Netflix. I was pleasantly surprised. Didn't go where I thought it was going to go, and left me at the end going, I'm not sure what all happens, but I was okay with that. So,
Well, and it was a film that that's been around since 2017. I had never heard of.
well, and especially when that guy's got so much fanfare,
Yeah.
part of Ozark.
Yeah, sometimes they re-release stuff, on video and things like that when they see someone's done pretty well.
Well, and we joked a lot, but I don't think the title helped this movie.
No, huh?
Super Dark Times and what the movie was about. I think a better title of the movie could have helped it a lot more too.
Yeah, I just don't know what that title would have been.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Add that something with sword.
Yeah.
Something was wrong with Jimmy.
Jimmy
came the throat.
Jimmy don't
well, let's move on to, I think this pick, which is Greyhound, which I did not see, but I'm reading the synopsis right now, and it says that Tom Hanks, obviously, plays a commander of, also says must lead a convoy that's being stalked by a German submarine. So automatically I'm thinking maybe Red October, or what's the other, Crimson Tide. Is it more of a suspense movie, war movie?
Yeah, it's definitely a war film.
Yeah,
definitely a war film.
Aaron Schneider directed. He's got some good stuff. So, Russ,
I'm just hanging out with Tom over here, guys. So.
Old T-Bone Hanks.
Old Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, what did you think? Did you like it?
Well, so it's a war film. They're going from Britain to the mainland of Europe over there, trying to resupply people, and they were being hunted by U-boats, German submarines, the entire time, and it's all based on real stuff. This is a real boat, and this was a real captain and all that stuff. I think that the action scenes in it and stuff are pretty good for a film that I don't think probably had a giant budget. I think they took a film that didn't have a blockbuster budget and they made a good job making it look like a blockbuster film, because sometimes you can just tell the difference, so I think they did a good job at that. This, interestingly enough, was also written by Tom Hanks.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's the writer on this one as well. It said screenplay by Tom Hanks, and I felt that. And if you want me to elaborate, I shall. I felt like something was missing in the dialogue. They weren't doing enough with the dialogue to really create backstories for any of these characters. Even Tom Hanks, they don't really create like much of a backstory for like, who is this guy? They kind of touch it a little bit, but it's really superficial. And then there's no little bits of personality really from most of those, other than Scared. But most of the other actors, there's no real little bits of personality coming out at all.
Right.
Like you typically see in war films. So war films, they'll always have some of those archetype characters and stuff that kind of keep the action moving along, maybe with a little bit of subtle humor. But he didn't have that in this. So it was like the looks are great, the acting is okay, but I felt like the dialogue that they were given to work with just wasn't that great. So you didn't feel like you knew any of these characters, nor did you really care. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think that's where it was lacking. It's an okay film, but I would say probably a 5 at best on it.
Oh, wow. And before, Easy, we go to you, why was this a COVID reflected not going to theaters and went to Apple TV, or was it Apple TV all along? Do we know?
I believe it's Apple TV all along.
Yeah.
That was the plan?
Yeah.
I think probably they let Tom Hanks write a film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom Hanks is like, I'll make a film with you. You just got to let me write it.
Deal.
Okay. All right, bosom buddy. Get your butt in there.
Easy. I now know why you picked this, because it's got your favorite Elizabeth Shue in it. So.
Okay. Let me start there. Why is Elizabeth Shue in this movie?
Because they give her no personality. Is that his wife even?
Yeah. I don't know. Hold on. Let me blow your mind. Is she real?
Oh, yeah, she's real.
Because, like, they're having this conversation, and then she shows up at the end, like they hightailed it across the water with these boats, and she beats him there. Maybe I missed something, but I don't know. I don't know why she was in the movie. She had no personality. You didn't care about her. I have no idea, and she didn't even look attractive. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and that's the thing. This is written from a guy's memoirs.
Right.
You know, so Hanks read this guy's about this captain or whatever, and they read the about this specific I guess you would call it battle, and he was like, man, this would be a great film.
Yep.
But he just didn't give you any real development of any of the characters. I kept thinking, is that his wife? I think it's his wife, but they almost seem like co-workers in some
Yeah,
sense.
exactly right. I think it's co-workers. I do not think they're married. I think that he's trying to convince her to love him, and you know, it's like, oh, when it's all said and done, now, you know,
Yeah.
That's my. Well, I think that you're all over this about Tom Hanks, and that, I mean, he is a real historian, and I think that he took it from, I'm going to put together this historical movie, historically accurate movie, and I'm not worried about the dialogue. I'm not worried about anything other than telling the story of this boat. Now, I think personally that stories like this we have to watch. I wasn't really excited about this, but the story of everything that happened in World War II. This is two, right? Not one.
Yeah, it's WW2.
It's stories that we need to hear to understand what people had to go through, just to have freedom. You know, there's a scene where the one young boy dies, and they're giving him a burial at sea, and they go to slide the body off, and it's just, I mean, there's just nothing there, and it just, I think those are accurate. A lot of those, you know, I don't want to ever understand what war is. Okay, so, but saying all that, I'm not really a war film guy, but saying all that, I found myself very dialed in on this movie and paying attention the entire time.
Yeah,
once really fast.
Oh yeah, once the action starts, you are on a roller coaster.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just on a roller coaster.
And
man, it was like, it's like, have they slept or gone to the bathroom, or, you know, because it was days.
And it made me angry. There's one point in it, Othy, where multiple times in it that the German U-boat is taunting them and keeps getting on their radio signal and telling them that they're going to kill them. And I was angry at the trans.
Yeah. Do you think that part of it really happened, or was that kind of put in to give you an idea of?
I can't imagine that it would be too hard in that day and age to find what radio signal they're transmitting on and get into it. So I think it was accurate, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. It seemed like it was kind of a good way to
Hollywoodize it a little bit.
To really make the bad guy the bad guy.
Right, right.
You know, so I was like, I wonder if that, and that was the thing. Did it happen? I don't know. You know, and it could very well have happened, but it just seemed like maybe it was.
So with all that said, it's not a movie that I was like stoked about seeing. I enjoyed it. So I'm going to go to 6. I'm going to vote for Hoskins on this one too.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if you like a war movie, this is a good one. I mean, it's fine. And it's not about the acting. It's about the story, and just know that going into it.
Yeah, no, it's a good film. It's a solid film.
Yeah.
It was amazing to me how they got 3 shades of gray and 3 shades of dark blue, and used that to make a pretty film.
Yeah, it was.
But it's actually pretty, and that's what I was thinking. That whole, they gave you a blockbuster feel with it because they used the most monotone color palette of just dark shades and things, and made a very kind of compelling and beautiful film with it. But I would probably give it a 6 as well.
Okay.
I wouldn't go Wouldn't go much higher than that, really.
Host, we need you to tell us that Elizabeth Shue, was it his wife or not?
IMDb, her character's name is Evelyn.
Evelyn, okay.
No last name.
All these movies that are made for Apple TV, do you think that at some point in time they'll be distributed elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, I think if they will probably come up with some kind of deal with Amazon or something at some point.
Okay.
You know, everybody makes a deal with everybody at some point.
That's
like,
true.
hey,
there's money to be made.
This is watched out on my system. You want to play it on yours?
You want to throw it on your system?
Yeah.
So, Russell, let's talk about, is it American Pickle? Is that the right name of it?
Yes, it's American Pickle.
And American Pickle.
It is An American Pickle, yes.
I so badly want to watch this one based off the trailer.
As I say.
Looks amazing, but again, I'm going to break down and get that. So, well, since Russ, you start with Greyhound. Eric, why don't you start with American Pickle and give us your thoughts?
Okay. The story is about how this guy from what year was it, Russell?
It was 100 years ago.
Yeah, 100 years ago. Yeah. And basically, he falls into this pickle vat and wakes up in New York City 100 years later. And it's, stars Seth Rogen and Seth Rogen. Pretty much nobody else in it but Seth Rogen and Seth Rogen, right? I mean, there's not very many other.
I think they made that for pretty cheap.
Yeah. I read some IMDb or looked at IMDb. IMDb gave it a 5 point, or users gave it 5.7. Rotten Tomatoes a 47%. And I disagree with that rating completely. I'm not saying that this is Oscar worthy, but it was an enjoyable film. So what you have is the modern Seth Rogen is he's a developer of an app, and he's been working on this app for years that talks all about how ethical companies are. So you can take a picture of something and it's going to tell you, their carbon footprint and other things that they do for the environment. And you can make your purchases based off of how ethical the company is. Okay. His long lost grandfather, great grandfather.
He wasn't long lost. He was brined in a vat of pickle juice for 100 years.
Yeah. Obviously,
great grandfather.
He's not worried about the ethical piece of companies, and it's interesting the whole commentary on the movie. One of my favorite things that they did there about the how he fell in and he lived 100 years in this vat. Did you catch that?
I laughed my ass off.
They go.
You got to see this film.
It's good.
It is flippin' hilarious.
They're in front of the doctors are in front with him. After 100 years, he's sitting there and he says the doctors gave some very sound logic, and the doctor doesn't say anything, and then it shows the audience. They're just going, and that's it. They just
all the reporters,
all the how it happened, sound logic, and then that was it.
Yeah.
I love that. It was like, of course this couldn't happen, but we don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? They keep telling the movie.
It's a fairy tale.
That's terrible and awesome writing at the same time.
Yeah, it was great. It made me laugh. I hated that the name of the company was Boop Bop. Boop Bop was the name of his company, and I'm like, that's completely fitting for what I do with my job every day. And it's like, hey, you need to check out Boop Bop. No, I'm good. I don't need to. But what the sad and interesting part of the movie is, you got two people that have different points of view, who think differently about the world, and they can't do anything but fight and try to ruin the other one. So the modern, I mean, and that's legit. The modern Seth Rogen is trying to ruin the ideology and basically the career of the older Seth Rogen. And it kind of hit me right in the feels with what we're going through in our nation right now. It's like I couldn't disagree more with Russell on most things, but for God's sakes, I mean, I'm not. I got to. I don't want to try to ruin him, and he doesn't want to try to ruin me. And it was a great commentary because honestly, I don't think that they were taking one side or the other in the story.
They really weren't. No, they really weren't. I'm going to throw this out there. This is the best film I have seen this year.
Oh wow!
Absolutely the best film I've seen this year. So Seth Rogen was the producer, executive producer, and he also stars in it. But he did not write this one. So normally when he's in those movies, he also is one of the writers.
They had to let him write jokes in this for sure, right?
Huh?
They had to let him write some of the jokes in this one.
Well, he wasn't credited as a writer at all in the film. But no, this was written by another guy. And so what you don't get is Seth Rogen's stuff is usually pretty crass.
Yes.
You know, and pretty like in your face. I don't think there was a cuss word said in this whole film. I would have no problem sitting down with the 6-year-old and watching this movie.
Yeah.
You know, which is you don't get in his films.
Yeah.
And because of that, he was just so much more understated than usual, especially as the Ben character. But you know, I just really enjoyed him as the grandfather character as well. So they weren't over the top, and they weren't they did develop this rivalry, but they weren't mean spirited, but they weren't, you know what I mean? They weren't just like tacky to each other. It was all done in fairness.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just interesting. And then they're showing that big cultural divide, you know.
Yeah, where there's a scene where he's up in front talking to a group of people, the old man, and talking about how women, you know, I mean, it is
just his views on, you know, a Jewish Russian from 100 years ago, what his views would be.
And the funny part is that they weren't hating on his views. They weren't just. They made it laughable, and they made it.
Yeah, because you're like, well, that's what he would have thought. I agree. Yeah, you know.
Right. It was good, but then in the end, it wasn't even the ending. You know, they bonded both over the current, you know, what society is like now, but also the ancient Jewish culture, you know, that they got back together at the end, and the line I wrote down, he's like, I don't belong here, you know, I don't believe anymore. And he's like, well, you're still a Jew, you know, are you still not a Jew? And for me, it was just like, hey, they finally got to the place where they accepted one another. And dude, I really needed that. I really needed that with the way things are going in our country around us. And
they were family, you know.
Yep.
I think what was driving them was their similarities.
Yeah.
Although they were very different views on things, their similarities is what caused them to clash and stuff in the beginning. No, it's a really good film. It is a really good film, Othy. I watched it on my phone.
Here, I'll one second.
And I thought it was just. I was like, man, this is gonna detract from the film, you know, seeing it and it wouldn't even go long ways. It would only go that way.
Oh, gotcha.
You know? And I watched that, and dude, I thought it was a beautiful film.
Yeah.
Not only the story that they were doing, but it was really the cinematography on it was the best I'd ever seen in a Seth Rogen film.
One other thing I got to mention is the interns and.
Oh my gosh.
That part about getting interns that for you know working for nothing, he figures out, and then how quickly they turn on him.
Like slave? No, it's way different.
So yeah, I highly recommend it. It is not what I thought I was going to watch again, and I love when a movie surprises me and shocks me. So yeah, I don't know how. I want to hear your rating before I say what mine is because, once again, it is not an Oscar film. It is not something that's going to, take its place in history. But it was a likable movie. So you tell me what you'd be rating it.
Robert Duvall.
Oh wow.
That a 9?
No,
yes.
That's an 8.
That's an 8.
Okay, so I was going to say Downey Jr. That's really where I was at, and so I was leaning between an 8 or 8 and a 7 and an 8. Yeah, it's worth a watch, and it'll get you in the feels a little bit if you just think about what we're going through as society.
I really think just like Peanut Butter Falcon last year,
love that movie.
Really by the end of the year became our favorite film.
Yeah.
Overall, I really think this has potential, especially once Othy watches it, to become our favorite film.
Yeah, you need to check it out. It's good.
Well, it's good you guys are saying this because I was so excited to watch this. I even went out and for the night I was going to watch it, I got a big pickle. And this is my plan to eat that and watch the movie because I thought the trailer looked hilarious. So I was really excited for this one. So now I'm actually even more pumped, but now I got to find it and get it. So, anyway.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah. So what do we want to – Easy, since that was your pick, you want to give us your pick for October?
Yeah, well, and I'm kind of cheating for all the people out there in Dunestone land. No, I'm not going Borat. But we were texting each other, and somebody else, I think Russell or Othy, picked this movie, but then they chose something else. So I'm going to take On the Rocks, which is Bill Murray movie about is it Maya Rudolph? I can't quite remember who's in it.
I think
Rashida Jones plays his daughter.
That's it.
Sorry. And about her going through some marital issues. So it looks funny and Bill Murray weirdish enough that I was like, okay, so that comes out. Today is October 1st, so it comes out tomorrow, October 2nd.
It says releases on October 23rd on IMDb.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not what I read just earlier. Sure they didn't move it up. Let me look. All right, you tell us, and I'll look it up. What you're gonna?
Well, they may have moved it back. I mean, it's really hard with films right now. They're just flopping them back and forth all over the dang place.
Will this one be going to theaters too, or do we know?
I think it may be good. It may be doing a run through the theaters. Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's why they pushed it.
Well, it's Sofia Coppola, so they're like, oh, we throw this in there. She might get an Oscar this year.
You know? It's limited theatrical release on October 2nd.
Okay, so that's what they're doing.
Okay.
October 23rd on Apple TV.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So we got time.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to find it. Should be okay. Yeah, that looks like a good pick, man. I'll watch anything with Bill Murray.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you want me to go next? I got mine all queued up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My pick is a film called The Dark Divide. It's currently released. If you go to thedarkdivide.com, you can actually screen the film there and choose one of the corporate partners that they partnered with or something, and you can watch it for like a discounted, I think it's like $12 or something like that.
Okay.
So it's based on the story of renowned butterfly expert Robert Pyle, who embarked on a life-changing trek through one of America's most important unprotected wildlands in the summer of 1995.
Huh.
Just hearing that, I think of Into the Wild.
It is, I think, kind of something like that.
Okay.
I think it's kind of based on the previews. Deborah Messing plays his wife, and this guy was the preeminent scientist on butterflies and stuff at the time, and it was going to do great things in the scientific world probably, and then his wife gets cancer. And everything is derailed by that for several years. But she's kind of on the other side of it now. And she's like, okay, do you need to get back to living again? You know, because
that movie again.
The Dark Divide.
All I can think of, this is a Russell pick, is what this sounds like.
Oh no! The second I saw it, I was like, "Holy crap! I'm seeing that. I am seeing that." But man, I love David Cross though.
He's good.
He's funny, and it seems like from all the previews and stuff that he's going to bring maybe a levity to this film that it's probably going to need. I don't know. It just looks good.
He was amazing in Men in Black. That's for sure.
What?
No.
In what?
I said Alex Cross. He was amazing in Men in Black. That's old. Okay, well, my pick is, since I go to Netflix only practically, is The Devil All the Time, which stars Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland. I'll be honest, I don't quite know what it's about. But
it's got Tom Holland. That's what you said, right?
Tom Holland, set in maybe the 50s. That's what it's looking like.
Yeah.
But man, Robert Pattinson has not turned in a good role, in my opinion, in anything I've seen him in. So I'm hoping
Ever.
Maybe he'll be the best Batman ever. I don't know.
God, I don't like the looks of that.
No, it looks like an indie movie gone wrong.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to do the Joker as Batman. You know what I'm saying? They did that Joker movie with Joaquin. It's like they decided, let's try this.
It's like a college budget. Hey, go make a Batman movie.
The bad guy's going to be Hush, by the way.
Think so?
They're trying to make us think that it's the Riddler, but it's not.
I'd be okay with that.
Who's playing Hush?
I
know it's somebody.
Paul Dano.
He's so good.
But they're saying that they cast him as the Riddler. But
okay, so help me with Paul Dano. I mean, I know There Will Be Blood, but what else is he in?
Little Miss Sunshine?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He was in that
Prisoners.
Beach Boy was one that was pretty good.
Which one?
The Beach Boys. It was an interesting film. So Paul Dano played the younger version.
I remember that.
Brian Wilson, and then John Cusack was the older version.
Oh, really?
Brian Wilson. Yeah. So it was like the Beach Boys were becoming really popular.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of, so it shows that arc going up there, and then it just kind of leaves off and skips, and you jump over to John Cusack.
Interesting.
Amazing. But no, it was okay. It wasn't that damn good. I love him in
he's good in everything.
In There Will Be Blood, yeah, man.
Yeah, he's so good.
Oh, Love and Mercy, he was in that. He was in that film Prisoners.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, Love and Mercy is the one that we were talking about. The Beach Boy one. Jesus Christ. So is that your pick?
Yes.
What was your pick?
The Devil All the Time.
The Devil All the Time.
We got On the Rocks, The Dark Divide, and Devil All the Time. That sounds like great movies for October. Also have a little bit of a creepy vibe to them there.
Yeah, except The Dark Divide doesn't look like it has a creepy vibe at all.
No,
but...
like that title doesn't add up to the butterfly movie, The Dark Divide.
Yeah.
So Russell, where can people find us?
www.dunestoneredemption.com. We're on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Beep Boop. What else we got? We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Rectify. What else?
You're on Instagram.
Yeah, I Graham.
Play.
Yep.
You say that?
Yeah, so we're out there. If you're not finding us, hey, that's your problem, man.
It's been 2 years. We've never asked for $1. We just asked for you to listen.
Yeah. You're getting this content free.
That's right.
Sponsored by IMDb.
Thank you for the dollars, IMDb.
Yes.
Sponsored by Big Papa Pickle.
Big Papa Pickle. Yeah, that was good product placement.
If you're thinking of pickles, you're thinking of Big Papa.
All right.
And scene.
All right, I stopped the recording. Looks like it's still recording.
Oh, well.
Oh, that's so funny. Still recording. You got to say something interesting to all the people out there.
Yeah, it does say recording up there. Did you just now start recording?
No, it's been on the whole time.
Okay, good.
But my choices
Done
are
that shit before.
when I hit end, my choices are to end meeting for all or leave meeting.